What makes some of the financial communications particularly challenging, and how should companies approach these communications differently from some of the more general brand messaging?
It's funny, between 2020 and 2022, I did more IPOs, even SPACs, than I had in the full 15 years prior combined.
Yeah.
Which was it was a wild time. So that road to IPO was really truncated. Some didn't know they were going to IPO at the beginning of the year. By the end of the year, there we were. So the runways were really short. And then there were others that was, a dream and a goal of theirs. But, it went from 3 to 5 years to 3 to 5 months. So it was rather interesting because there is a different strategy. There is a different approach to the communications engine that you want to do when someone has the public markets in mind. I would say some of the most challenging aspects is that they're all different. I've not done an IPO with a brand, even if they're in the same space, that look the same as the other. So there's something that I always recommend my team or in combination with the brand's team do, which is an audit of the space in that exact moment. And then continuing to every quarter, take a look again, what is the feeling, what kind of coverage of the companies that are IPOing getting, what kind of questions are being asked, because it changes from even month to month. Right now, it could be changing week to week. So that's something that's really interesting and insightful, and something that stands out to me as probably the most challenging is how different every company approaches sort of, we'll call them the rules of the road
yeah.
on the road to IPO. So I had one client that was super bold, loved to take risks, would hear our guidance and then sort of beat to their own drum and say, okay, that sounds great. Really glad you said that. You can even put it in writing if you want. We're going to do it this way. And that's fun for us, but also, you don't sleep very much during that time.
Right.
That time frame. And this particular client, they never ended up IPOing, but one of the things that they asked us to do was they really wanted to secure a piece of business press coverage that said that they're going to hit 100 million in revenue by a certain year. And for months, we told them what a bad idea this was. There's so many reasons why it's a bad idea, but even just foundationally, they had IPO as their goal.
Yeah.
And if they don't hit that revenue by that time frame that they wanted, the headline to read, there's a lot of questions, a lot of defending that would need to happen. If they overshoot it, great. But if they undershoot it, it's not so great. So they didn't end up IPOing. We did end up securing the coverage after months of sort of debate on whether it was appropriate. And they did not meet that revenue goal by that year.
Yeah.
They had a different kind of exit. And those are the moments where I think it's hard, because no matter how many flashing red signs you put up or how many, proof points you put in front of them, sometimes they just think they're going to be an exception or that's not going to be the case. And we firmly believe that we can only go so far, right? I always say push back 3 times. The 4th time you go at their pace and in their way, but make sure you've documented what you've said.